Hello, everybody. It is halftime. In between our first matchups, some good ones in store. Most of them are pretty close. There's only a couple that are a little bit out of hand right now. But yeah, everything's looking really good for everybody. Teams are playing really well so far. You love to see that in playoff season. Welcome back to playoff season. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody at the door. As you see, we have a new backdrop. Got my backyard behind me right now. A little bit of a chilly day. That's why I got the long sleeves on, and I'm supporting the boys in blue. But it is football season. It's time to get to that. Let's get rolling. First matchup to talk about is the matchup between Gally and Erico. Gally got up to a 2.5-point lead, 130-127.5 to get things going in the first part of this week. But right now they have Eric at a 60% chance of winning. Derrick Henry is a huge guy for Eric. That's the guy I want to highlight. Derrick Henry's been absolutely unbelievable. He's a top 5 play once again this week. He's matchup proof. He's a monster. If you guys want a little bit of reading, check out his high school stats. They're incredible. The best high school stats you'll ever see. And then also want to touch on Kenyon Drake a little bit. Kenyon Drake seems to be the number 1 guy in Arizona. David Johnson seems like a thing of the past, which sucks for a lot of people, including myself, because Eric as well. He is David Johnson, but I have David Johnson as a first-round pick in a couple leagues, and that seems to be like a bad decision. His counterpart, Gally, DeAndre Hopkins doing his thing once again. He had a really good matchup with one of the best corners in football against Stephon Gilmore last week. Sorry about that. It was a really good game to watch Sunday night between the Texans and the Patriots. I loved it personally because the Patriots lost, but DeAndre Hopkins did a lot of really good things. As you guys know, he is the man in Houston. Also, Tyler Boyd. Things are getting back on track a little bit for him. It looks like Cincinnati is going to try to get a winning streak together. They're playing the Browns, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But Tyler Boyd was really good, and the Bengals did win their first game last week. So that's it for that matchup. Moving on to Scam Squad versus No Luck Ponies. Huge lead for Jackson. He had the most points, I believe, of anybody in that week. Yeah, that happened a lot. A lot of the playoff teams didn't do spectacular, and the teams that were in a consolation bracket did do spectacular. But Jackson up to a 209-144 lead. He was awesome. Chris Carson is that guy. He is a big part of that Seattle offense. You love to see it. It looks like Rashad Penny is going to have a little bit of value as well for the Seahawks, but Carson's awesome. And then Devontae Parker, how good has he been? Devontae Parker is, I think, legit top 20 wide receiver right now for the lowly Dolphins. But he's one of the most improved players. I know the NFL doesn't give out that award, but if they did, very real chance that Devontae Parker could win that award. He's been really, really good this year for the Dolphins. And then for Nace Poo, Nace, a little bit of a tough start to the week, but they only have Jackson as a 51% favorite. So they're still believing in a little comeback for Nace. Cooper Kupp was able to get a couple things going this week. He's been pretty bad the last couple weeks for as good as he's been. So hopefully Kupp can continue to get things going in a huge Sunday night matchup between them and the Seahawks. I'm really excited to watch that myself. And James White. James White was awesome. Sony Michel is kind of fallen into the woodwork for the Patriots, even with the return of Isaiah Wynn. And it's been a James White show in New England. So we'll see what happens with them and the Chiefs this week as they are in that flex game at 3 o'clock. Next matchup. This one was probably the best matchup of any matchups, even though it wasn't a consolation bracket. J Money against Utah. It was a great matchup in week 1. Right now they have J Money as a 52% favorite, but only a 5-point lead, 184-179. Huge couple games for J Money. Leonard Fournette was really good once again. I kind of been sleeping on Leonard this year. Leonard's been really good all year. He's a top 10 running back. He's top 5 plays about every week. He's looking awesome. And then you do have a Thursday night matchup with Allen Robinson. I don't love playing skill players on a Thursday night game, but them against Dallas should allow Allen Robinson to get going again. As bad as the quarterback situation has been in Chicago, Allen Robinson has proved to have a lot of fantasy value this year, and I know J Money is excited to see that. Utah's playing really well. We talk about all the time that he was so close to the playoffs, and him and I would be playing this week in the playoffs if that were to happen. But he has a big Thursday night matchup as well. As you know, he is highly invested in the Dallas Cowboys. He has the quarterback and the running back. So I want to highlight those guys. Dak Prescott, I don't know if he's playing like how much does he want? $70 million a year? Not really that much, but he's been playing really well this year. And then Zeke is running pretty well. He has that great offensive line. It's going to be tough against that Chicago front, but we'll see what happens in part 2 of their matchup. In the last consolation matchup, it's Hunter against Adam. Very close matchup, as Hunter has just a 1.5 point lead right now on Adam, 154 to 152.5. Right now, they have Hunter as a 52% chance winner. So all these are really close, as you guys have noticed. Obviously, the big question mark for Hunter this week is Dalvin Cook. Is Dalvin Cook going to play? He had a very scary injury on Monday night, so I hope that he's ready to go. I have a bye with the team I have him with this week, so he has kind of a week to recover from me. But Dalvin Cook has been unbelievable this year. You want to see him back just for good football. You love seeing good football. He's been a PPR machine this year, so you want to see that from Dalvin Cook. And then I think you got to talk about Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been absolutely phenomenal. He's got a big matchup this week because Buffalo against Baltimore should be a really good game. Two great defenses. But Josh Allen has been really good with his legs this year, and he's leading a really good Buffalo team. I think that this Buffalo and Baltimore matchup could be a potential playoff run-in. I think both teams are really good. We'll see what happens. I fall more in love with Buffalo every single day, and I like what they have going. And I think Josh Allen is a legitimate quarterback here in the NFL, and I'm excited to watch him play in that noon game on Sunday. For Adam, I don't know if he watched his video last week because he still hasn't changed his team name. Goff, Hawk, and Lockett is still his team name, and he only has Goff on his team. Hawk is out for the season, and Lockett is on their team right now. Lockett hasn't been great, though, so it might have been a good trade if you traded him to Hunter. In this particular matchup, John Brown. We're talking about Buffalo, talking about the Baltimore-Buffalo matchup. John Brown has been a wide receiver 1 this season. The Pitt State alum. I know that Adam likes whenever I talk about him, so I want to chat about him a little bit. And then Julio Jones, you hope he plays. If he does play, that does put down Calvin Ridley's value a little bit, but Julio Jones was out last week, and just like I said, for just watch good football, you want to see Julio Jones go to town, and him and Matt Ryan can hook up for some more scores. Now we have the 2 semifinal matchups. This week was a good one. The first one between Brett and Jordo. Brett did jump up to a little bit of a lead. He has a little bit of a 34-point lead, 156 to 122. 63% chance to win it for Brett. He did have a down week. Jordan had a down week as well. Like I said, all teams in the playoffs, those 4 teams in the playoffs kind of all had down weeks. Luckily, that all happened to everybody, so we all kind of have a chance moving forward in the second half of the matchup. You can't really say anything that hasn't already been said about a lot of guys on Brett's team, but I'm going to try my best. You do want to talk about – I have to talk about him. I got to talk about Lamar. Lamar is so good. He was bad this week, quote unquote, whatever. He wasn't as big time as he's been. He still had a very, very productive fantasy day, and he led his team to a great win with the game-winning kick by the best kicker in the league, Jay Tuck. But Lamar Jackson, once again, unbelievable player. I want to talk about Miles Sanders a little bit, though. A good start by Brett, and he was really good this week. Had a chance to be good again this week as against the Giants, a little Monday night action. That could be exciting if it all came down to that. Because they'll have Ertz and Sanders in that Monday night game. But Miles Sanders, great start by him, and he looks like he's, according to what I'm looking at right now, Miles Sanders is going to get started again for Brett. In the other side of the matchup, Jordo, his guy. He's got to have him. Mahomes has to be spectacular against the Patriots. If he's not, then it very well might be Brett moving on. Sorry, the dogs are barking a little bit. Somebody might be home. We'll see. But Mahomes, really good. He's going to have to be really good for Jordo to have a chance. And then I want to talk about, hey, guys, I'm trying to do the video right now. All right, I think they're done. And then Will Fuller, he had a touchdown called back, and he's starting to get back in sync with Deshaun Watson. That Texans offense is looking awesome. Right now, Will Fuller is not in the starting lineup for Jordo, but he very well could be. We'll see what happens, but I wanted to highlight Will Fuller, and you know how boom or bust he is, but whenever he booms, he really, really booms. And I think Will Fuller's healthy, and he could be a huge guy in Jordo's run for a championship. The other matchup between my sister and I, right now it's 165 to 147. Right now they give me a 51% chance of winning, so about as close as it can be because of tension with the knife. Deshaun Watson getting a start this week for Tori. Last week, she went with the matchup with Kyler Murray. Deshaun Watson getting back in there against Denver. Not a great matchup again for Watson, but we know how good Watson is, and he probably will dissect that Broncos defense because he's awesome. Also, Calvin Ridley, I talked about a little bit of Julio Jones. If Calvin Ridley, or if Julio doesn't play, Calvin obviously gets a bump. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, possibly. And Ridley's also questionable himself, so we'll see what happens there. And then for my side of things, Austin Eckler, I want to talk about him. He's been a top 10 running back all year. He has been in the starting lineup for me all year. Unbelievable PPR season for Eckler. He has a matchup against Jacksonville, which seems to be a pretty light matchup, but the Chargers kind of suck. So we'll see what happens with that. And then Michael Thomas, his third down week, I guess. He had 18 points, which was his worst of the year. 18, 16, something like that. Let me get you an exact fact check here. It looks like he did, in fact, have 18 points last week. So we'll see what happens with Michael Thomas. You can't bench him, of course. I can't bench him because he's the best wide receiver in football. But against the 49ers, you're not feeling great about that matchup. But we'll see. After this week, we're going to have a championship. It's either going to be obviously Brett or Jordo, or they're me or my sister. So two great semifinal matchups, and obviously the consolation brackets are really exciting as well. It's been a really exciting week, a really exciting season for everybody. I am looking forward to getting to watch some more football. Things are getting cold. Time to bundle up and watch some football on Sunday and Monday night now. We'll have a game tomorrow for Thursday night, a really good matchup between the Bears and the Cowboys. We'll see if the Cowboys are legit. I know Eric's excited to watch that one. But that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and looking forward to talking to you again next week whenever we announce the championship. Where's the trophy going this year? We'll see. We'll see you all next week. This is Kamis signing off.